Alright guys, here we go. We are attempting a new setup. Let's give it a shot, right? What are we going to start it on? Well, you're looking at it. Former Israeli space security chief says extraterrestrials exist and Trump knows about it. The Galactic Federation has been waiting for humans to reach a stage where we will understand what space and spaceships are, Haim Eshed said. A former Israeli space security chief sent eyebrows shooting heavenward by saying that Earthlings have been in contact with extraterrestrials from a Galactic Federation. The unidentified flying objects have asked not to publish that they are here. Humanity's not ready yet. Okay, so interesting right off the bat, he doesn't say that the aliens or the entities within the spacecraft have asked not to publish. He actually says the unidentified flying crafts themselves have asked not to publish. That's a little bit weird, talking spaceships. Or maybe he's referring to the orbs of light that certain people have been able to see and under the work talking spaceships. Or maybe he's referring to the orbs of light that certain people have been able to see and under the work of somebody, I can't remember his name right now, they claim to be able to call them in. Those would be sentient UFOs, but it's odd wording no matter what. This is on NBC News. This is the article everybody saw. He says that even Trump knew about it, but that he was stopped from revealing the truth to the world, that the aliens want to discover the fabric of the universe. Eshed said cooperation agreements had been signed between species, including an underground base in the depths of Mars, where there are American astronauts and alien representatives. This isn't much of a shock to me because, as we all know, the big grift is the alien invasion grift. So we've seen an uptick in CV. We've seen a big push for the jab. We saw the massive voter fraud in the attempt to subvert the election. And now, you know, like I'm always saying, these plans that they have, they're like turning giant ships. So it's like they're just now starting to turn this vessel, and you have to do all these things to get in preparation for it. And it's going to be a long, slagging turn right into 2021 and the Great Reset. Hey, we're all going to get our debt forgiven, and we'll not be allowed to own anything personally anymore. Sounds like a blast. And then it's like White House didn't respond. You know, nobody responded for comment. But I wanted to show you, I looked at this Gizmodo article, and it really questioned everything. It says, the news was first translated to English by the Jewish press, with several mainstream English media organizations, including Forbes, NBC News, and Global News, quickly picking it up. According to the original report, Eshed spent his career in research and development across the IDF Intelligence Division and Israel Intelligence Corps, but exact details of his career and position were originally difficult to confirm. Now, it says originally difficult to confirm. Does that mean that they did confirm them, but originally they were difficult to confirm? Because that's some really strange wording that makes it seem like they're unconfirmed, except that's not what that sentence says. I hate the way that they do this stuff. And just for an FYI, if he was a 30-year careerist in the IDF intelligence division of the Israeli Intelligence Corps, I would expect it might be a little difficult to find out about his past employment. Just a guess. At first, the only real clue of his existence is in the form of a new book, The Universe Beyond the Horizon, Conversations with Professor Haim Eshed, written by author Hagar Yani. Okay, and I think she's a female. I think I've heard that name before. The book reportedly contains conversations Yani had with Eshed, including those pertaining to the Galactic Federation and the alien conspiracy theory spanning the U.S. and Israel. Right here they highlight her history. She's best known for being a fantasy fiction author and two-time winner of the Geffen Award for Best Original Hebrew Fantasy. Yikes. Okay. Given the wild Galactic Federation rumors are all sourced from the Jewish press, which also refers directly to her book, it's likely there's been something lost in translation here. I doubt that it's a translation issue, but metaphorically, yeah, it could be something lost in translation. Considering the classified nature of military secrets, the press releases for new books are still a little suspicious, as is the claim of U.S. and Israeli governments know about extraterrestrial aliens living on Earth. Yeah, I'd say that's a little out there. But since Gizmodo felt it necessary to completely question everything about this guy, I went looking for some stuff about him. And I started at the Jerusalem Post article about him. He's talking about the Galactic Federation. The Jerusalem Post is poking at him. But we get some more information in here. One thing that's pretty obvious that bothers me is it says that but Eshed insists that Trump is aware of them and that he was on the verge of disclosing their existence. However, the Galactic Federation reportedly stopped him from doing so, saying they wished to prevent mass hysteria since they felt humanity needed to evolve and reach a stage where we will understand what space and spaceships are. So I guess he's saying that time is now. I tend to disagree. I don't see much evolution in our society as humans since Trump got elected. It's a little weird. It's like now they're ready. As for why he's chosen to reveal this information now, Eshed explained that the timing was simply due to how much the academic landscape has changed and how respected he is in academia. If I had come up with what I am saying 5 years ago, I would have been hospitalized, probably. Today they are already talking differently. I have nothing to lose. I've received my degrees and awards. I'm respected in universities abroad, where the trend is also changing. Eshed provided more information in his book, and it comes back to that book. We really don't want somebody to be doing this based off of a book. While it is unclear if any evidence exists that could support Eshed's claims, they did come just ahead of a recent announcement by Space IL, the group behind Israel's failed attempt to land a spacecraft on the moon in 2019. So I guess they, tried to piggyback off of him? Let's see. Space IL team. Wow. It is likely that this is a follow-up to the Bereshet spacecraft, which crashed after engineers lost contact with it just minutes before it was due to land. However, the follow-up project titled Bereshet 2 is expected to take 3 years to be ready. So that's a little bit strange that they're making this announcement, this video announcement. Look at it, it's right down here. Ready to get excited again. On December 7, 2020, just days after crash landing, Space IL announced the Bereshet 2 project, a second attempt to land the spacecraft on the moon. The project was expected to take about 3 years to complete. However, they're saying they're going to the moon today, I think they said. On the 9th. Yeah. Teased a possible second attempt at a moon landing on Monday with a video reading back to the moon with the date December 9, 2020. Okay. I guess these people are just trying to piggyback off of this guy's claims. I don't know. But it's weird that they're happening in tandem, I guess. What is this? Israel's Eye in the Sky. I wanted to find some previous articles with this guy in it. If he did indeed hold these positions, then I wanted to see, what he had said, what he had done previously in his positions. I found very little, and I think both of them were from the Jerusalem Post. So is this guy just completely a spook? I don't know. But they're talking about the budget that they need to increase their UAVs, and he's quoted here. We had to use binoculars to track the small planes, and once in a while we would lose sight of them, recalled Haim Eshed, former head of Defense Ministry's Space Division and a member of the team that flew the remote control planes in the Sinai. When they landed, we took the camera, sent the film to be developed, and then studied the pictures. Not everyone believed in the UAVs, and Eshed, who served at the time as the head of MI's Research and Development Division, succeeded in moving the project over to the Defense Ministry, where it was taken over by MAFAT, the ministry's R&D directorate. So this guy did work in research and development for military intelligence and the space program, the Israeli space program. This one here, he's talking about Israel is losing its edge, I think, and also the UAV, or maybe the space program. This one's September 2nd, 2011. That's our guy who's now claiming that there are aliens and we're in contact with them. At this point, he was 73. Here it describes him as Eshed, 73, founded the Space Division more than 30 years ago and led it until Wednesday. So he founded Israel's Space Division. During that time, he promoted Israel's space capability, which today consists of 10 satellites in space that they advertise, because there's way more than that. He will now serve as a director at the Israel Space Agency, which is part of the Ministry of Science and Technology. Today, we have a relative edge over the rest of the region and parts of the world in certain space capabilities, some of which other countries are trying to copy, Eshed told the Post in an exclusive interview marking his retirement from Space Division. If, however, we do not increase our investments in the next 2 years, we stand the risk of losing our edge. Okay, so he is previously involved in the Israeli Space Ministry. This guy's legit. So what are the people who are challenging what he's saying? This one at Slate.com says, although it should be obvious to all humans that Eshed's ludicrous claims don't bear any further investigation, they are a valuable reminder that the important things in our lives are all found right here on Spaceship Earth. Not all some distant planet that is just close enough to be reached by sub-light speed craft, but with enough orbital eccentricity to easily conceal interstellar cargo launches from our primitive Earth telescopes. As I gaze with pride at my human wife and our beautiful marbled offspring, I know that my family's future is here, in our home, where we will forego exercise and eat as much as possible, ideally a diet high in acorn, chestnuts, and grasses, while awaiting further developments. All humans must do likewise. That's legitimately how this guy ends. That's how Human. His name's Human, not human. Human, because that totally makes sense. I'm sorry I even brought this to you guys. This is what our guy looks like here. I don't know, but he's got Israeli Air Force back there in the background. Okay, now this is the Facebook post that caused all the hoopla. And this is the page advertising it. It was done in Israel's largest circulation for pay newspaper, the Yedioth Aharonoth, and it's about this book, he says again. He served from 1981 to 2010 as the head of Israel's security space program, and over years received the Israeli Security Award 3 times, twice for confidential technological inventions. So again, that's the same claims that they didn't want to be revealed because we weren't ready. They're waiting for us to get ready. He's announcing it now because he's 87 and has nothing to lose and sees himself as part of academia, respected and part of academia. I am respected in universities abroad where the trend of politics of denial is also changing. By 81, Professor Eshed founded and became the first director of the Challenge Program in Israel's Administration for Research, Development of Weapons and Technological Infrastructure. In the defense ministry that directs satellite projects, Professor Eshed commanded the launch of 20 Israeli satellites, which is interesting because we just read that there were 10. He retired from the defense ministry in October 2011. The Snopes article about it, and how do you Snopes this article? Except just saying, he's crazy. Even though he's got 30 years in space, he's launched 20 satellites, and he's got degrees from God everywhere. He's crazy. Just ignore him. And then at the end, this is the best part about it. Read a quote from NASA. It never gets old. But let me show you the translations. Google. Here we go. So you recognize this. This is that. Okay? From the dawn of history, man has raised his eyes to the heights in his search for the secrets of creation. Almost all the ancient cultures we know today have their own story that explains how the world was created, who created it, and how humans were created. With the development of technology in modern times, man has been given new and exciting possibilities to satisfy his curiosity, and since the 50s of the 20th century, thousands of satellites and spacecraft have been launched into space. I'm there with you so far. The state of Israel belongs to a prestigious and limited club of countries that have high capacity in space, with achievements in the field of launchers, satellites, and even launching spacecraft. Professor Haim Eshed is one of the people responsible for these proud Israeli achievements. This book, based on the personal conversations that the author, Hagar Yani, had with Professor Eshed reveals the long journey he made as the son of immigrants from Istanbul until he reached his position. At the same time, it tells of the miraculous way in which technologies and science have developed in the country, which have led to collaborations with many countries in the world, and aliens evidently. Professor Eshed also reviews a phenomenon that has intrigued humanity in recent decades and presents observations of UFOs and various theories about their essence, purpose, and origin, which in his opinion is probably not from Earth. So when you read this, it sounds a lot less like he made these outrageous claims. Maybe he said possibility, I don't know. Like the first article said, it could be lost in translation, literally. This is a song of praise for the Israeli technological power, and at the same time a humble human document of a researcher who believes that the human race is not alone in the universe, and that it must be integrated into the harmony of the great plan. So that's the write-up for the novel. Now, this novel is produced by the same newspaper that did the interview with him in Hebrew that was then translated and thrown all over the internet. So it's a little bit even more suspicious when you're thinking, oh, he's probably promoting his book. Well, the interview that he did to promote his book was with the same company that is publishing the book. So that makes it a little bit more likely that that's what's going on. Yikes. This was the Facebook post, and I was unable to get it to translate on the page, so I just copied and pasted it. There is an agreement between the U.S. government and the aliens. They signed a contract with us to do experiments here. So I wonder if they're talking about recently, or is that like the Eisenhower thing where he supposedly signed an agreement with the aliens in exchange for some tech, and then they could cornhole our cows and our people? I don't know. They are also researching and trying to understand the whole fabric of the universe, and they want us as helpers. There is an underground base in the depths of Mars. That reminds me, the whole thing reminds me kind of like the secret space program, Solar Warden, and the Alliance, that whole rabbit hole. It's very reminiscent of that. It's almost like he's been digging into that. If I had come up with what I say today 5 years ago, I would have been hospitalized. Right. Okay, so that's the gist of everything that's come out about it. So we're going to have to see some kind of proof. The thing is that if this guy isn't just trying to sell his book and the second space launch by Israel to the moon, if that's not what he's trying to do, then I think his motivations are a little bit even more suspect, because you know of I've never used Mac before, so bear with me. So we know of this, and we know that this went down, and this was in April of 2020. Ever since then, there's been talk, about different various things, little small disclosures, and the question is what's going on with this gentleman fitting into a larger global picture of soft disclosure or of disclosure? Or is this part of the Great Reset and they're getting ready to do the thing that truthers have been talking about for a millennia and simulate an alien invasion? All I can say is 2020 has been one hell of a year and an impossible year to make predictions during. So I just wanted to bring you guys a quick video about this. I'm testing out this new format. So in the comment below, you guys, please let me know. Do you like this format better than the other format? Do you think I should do both? I'm comfortable doing the other format more, but I will do this more often if you guys think it's better format. Also, I'm going to be live streaming soon, so if you guys think that a certain time or a certain day in the week where the big live streamers kind of in my area aren't live streaming, please let me know in the comment section, because I would like to start live streaming with you guys if I can. The way I envision the live streams are just me getting on, maybe having a couple of topics in my head, and basically answering questions from people in the comment section, get a conversation going, and then the live stream being not so much about me, but about all of us collaborating and talking through what's been going on that day or that week or whatever. So please leave your suggestions below, leave your opinions on this below. I love you guys. Like, share, and sub the channel. Peace.